What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal, SpazPhoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here once again with another video that I'm sure is going to make me very, very popular. What do we have coming up this Sunday? We have Night of Champions. We have John Cena versus CM Punk, which is epic whether I like it or not. We have Sheamus versus Alberto Del Rio, which I'm pretty sure is going to be Del Rio getting screwed again. We actually have a #1 contenders match for the US title and a US title match, which is cool. We have the beginnings of a triple threat or a fatal four-way for the IC belt, which is very, very interesting because it's not where I thought the masked superstars were going to end up. But not what this video is about. This video is about the match, the title match, mind you, that I absolutely 100% cannot get behind. Now, I want to say a few things before some of my friends freak the fuck out. It's going to be a good match. Our Boom is Daniel Bryan's awesome and Kane's good for what he's good for. That's fine. I'm not shooting down Daniel Bryan. I'm not shooting down Kane, and surprisingly enough, I'm not even shooting down Our Boom. I'm not shooting down the anger management shit that Daniel Bryan and Kane is doing because it's fucking hilarious. But as a tag team match, moving the tag team division forward is what I'm talking about. For long term, for, you know, the betterment of the division and for my opinion of tag team wrestling, I don't want to see this match, and I don't care about this match in that regard. Here's 9 reasons why. I'm not going to get mad. It's not a venting video. It's not a rant. These are my, I think, 9 reasons why I don't agree with this match. Now, what I will say, because I already can think of at least one person that's going to rip me a new asshole by the time this video is over, I invite responses. I invite responses down in the box below. I invite video responses. As my good friend Dalyxman would say, do what you do. But here are the 9 or so reasons that I don't want to see this match. First and foremost, I cannot get invested in this team. Now, before people jump on me, I cannot get invested in this team because it is a team designed to fail. The story of this will be, let's see how long they can be a team before they implode, and it'll lead to a big, you know, payoff match later on down the road. So if it's a team designed to fail from the start, why would I get involved? Why would I get invested, rather? It's not to say that I'm not invested in Daniel Bryan. It's not to say that I'm not invested in Kane. It's not to say that I'm not invested in their feud. But why am I going to be invested in their tag team, you know, longevity or their tag team career if I know it's destined to fail? If its purpose is to fail, if its design is to fail. Daniel Bryan's not a tag team wrestler, and if you go through your wrestling history, how many tag teams has Kane been in? Undertaker, Big Show, X-Pac, Hurricane, Rob Van Dam, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Booker T. So Kane's had a revolving door, and Daniel Bryan is an amazing singles wrestler. I'm really, really trying not to look at what Alex is typing to me over here on Skype, because I'm sure it's epic, but I'm not reading it right now. So if I'm not invested, if I'm not invested in them as a team, I don't care about a tag team title match. Another thing I don't like about this, no, he's not the prime player in the WWE, but the longer they spend with Daniel Bryan and Kane and all this anger management stuff, which, yes, is hilarious, I will admit, they're playing it off very well. As a comedic heel, Daniel Bryan losing his shit all the time is fantastic. The longer he spends doing this, the farther it takes him from where he really, really needs to be, and that's in some kind of world title situation. Do I want to see Daniel Bryan versus Ziggler down the road? Absolutely. Do I want to see Daniel Bryan, Ziggler, Barrett, etc., 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 fighting over the World Heavyweight title? Absolutely I do. Kane. Here's the other part of this. Kane, I always have mixed reviews on. If you want any more proof of that, go check out the last episode of Wrestling Paradise, where I kind of explained why I'm very on Kane, especially these days, because his character is, you know, wonky at best, and he's been buried and reinvented and buried and reinvented so many times. All this comedy stuff, all this you know, therapy, humanizing Kane, whatever. Yes, I get it, and I'm going to drive this point home. I get that the anger management stuff is funny, and it's classic, and it's got everybody in stitches. But as far as Kane being a monster, that shit is watered down now. And the longer he spends in this, the more it's going to go that way. Like I say, what he's being handed right now, he's doing quite well. And Kane, as a comedy character, ironically enough, is also fantastic. But he has to be careful that he doesn't go to that point of no return, where we absolutely can never take him seriously as a monster again. And I fear that that's where we're going. Also, this tag team and the psychologist and all this storyline really revolves around AJ, when really, as much as a fan I am of AJ, they should have cut the cord between Daniel Bryan and AJ when Punk left the picture, because now that element of it, the specific element between Daniel Bryan and AJ, feels like it's dragging. To me, on their own, separately, fantastic performers, fantastic personalities, fantastic talents. The drawn out, you know, how long are you going to stay mad at the girl that left you at the altar thing is going to get old eventually, if not already. And the longer they do this, the longer Daniel Bryan and Kane stay together, the longer they drag out this particular theme, the longer both of these guys are sort of anchored to AJ, if that makes any sense at all. Here's another thing. You look at a tag team match. I love proper tag teams. I love, you know, the Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, the Dudleys, the Headbangers, the Godwins, the Legion of Doom, Demolition. Why? Because their identity was as a team. They came in dressed as a team. They came in acting like a team. They came in wrestling like a team. They had tag team finishers, etc., etc., etc. I don't like, in general, thrown together tag teams. Now, that being said, if you have an established tag team versus a thrown together tag team, it's not so bad, because the tag team dynamic comes from the team that's actually a team, and the sort of more sporadic elements come from the thrown together team. But when you have our Boom, who, with all due respect, because once again they are phenomenal individual talents, they still, and probably will never not, feel like a thrown together tag team, and they're carrying the championships, which is a separate issue in and of itself. But Daniel Bryan and Kane are the dictionary definition of a thrown together tag team. So you've got thrown together champions and thrown together challengers. Combined doesn't do good things for me as far as a tag team championship match. It might as well be, in some respects, a fatal four-way. It's just that two people get to win instead of one. Now, if you were going to have a thrown together tag team go for the tag team championships, you have one waiting in the wings that already works fluidly and beautifully, although a lot of people aren't a fan of it, in Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara. Now, I get why they didn't do it, because Rey Mysterio is involved in the Intercontinental Championship picture and whatever. That's fine. But if you were going to throw in a random team at the last minute that's thrown together that's not exactly an established team, they would have been a far better choice, and let Miz and Cody Rhodes just go do whatever they're going to do. Alright, now, you've got a thrown together team. A year ago I wouldn't have cared. 2 years ago I wouldn't have cared. You got all these thrown together teams just, you know, we need a tag team championship match, let's find 4 guys. A year ago, I wouldn't have cared. Like I said, 2 years ago, I wouldn't have cared. But when you have waiting in the wings, the primetime players, Primo and Epico, the Usos, Gabriel and Kidd, Ascension, even though I'm not totally hooked on them, with the exiting from WWE of Tyler Rex, you have glaring in your face the opportunity to reunite Hawkins and Ryder, who, yes, Ryder went off to become a goofball. Pull that back. You could put that great team back together if you chose to. There's a lot of great real tag teams that could start making the division look like a real team division, and all those guys just got wiped right off the slate for Daniel Bryan and Kane at the last minute. Because the tag team division, in this sense, and this is where the root of my problem is, the tag team division isn't the focus here. The focus here is the feud between Daniel Bryan and Kane. And the tag team championships and the entire tag team division are being used right now as a prop in what is eventually going to pay off as a singles feud. If you want to establish your tag team division, have proper tag team feuds rather than a team that's too busy fighting each other. If that makes sense. I know I'm starting to ramble, but here's the very, very crux of my point, really. The next thing, not only are they taking the opportunity tonight, but Daniel Bryan and Kane, both former world champions. Now, not to put down any of the teams that I just mentioned, but how are any team like the Primetime Players, Primo, Epico, Usos, Gabriel, Kidd, Ascension, Hawkins, Ryder, or anybody else on that level supposed to even look like they have a modicum of a chance against two former world champions? They're setting themselves up for a future where nobody believes that anybody else can win. And if Daniel Bryan and Kane become the stopping point of the tag team division, then nobody's going to be invested anymore. And if it gets to a point where they have to relinquish the title because they're going to go fight each other, then the titles start from zero. Whoever gets them next doesn't really win them from anybody. Then what the hell do they mean? They have no believable contenders. There's nobody else in the division that's going to stand up and say, at this particular point, with the builds that they collectively have right now, that yes, we can stand comfortably across the ring from two former world heavyweight champions and contend with them for the tag team championships. It's not realistic at all. The very last point, and this is one that I know a lot of people are going to say, so what? This is one that a lot of people are going to say it's not a big deal, it's just the way things are. This move on Raw tonight undermined the entire existence of SmackDown. When were the Primetime Players designated as the #1 contenders? They won a triple threat match on SmackDown that was labeled a #1 contenders match. It was set in stone. It was set for the pay-per-view, Primetime Players versus our Boom. There's your champions. And they won a triple threat match. They beat 2 other teams. 2. Now that happened on SmackDown, and we come to Raw, and AJ in her infinite wisdom, speaking on behalf of the board and the creative team and all that, says, well, you know, that only happened on SmackDown. What happens on SmackDown doesn't really matter, so we're going to establish the real #1 contenders on Raw. Totally undermining the authority or the importance of anything that happens on SmackDown, and this becomes another thing to put on that list of, hey, why do people see SmackDown as a B show? Why do people see SmackDown as the show that's missable because we'll catch the repeats on Raw? Why do people see SmackDown as the show where nothing important happens because all the important shit will happen on Raw? Because even if you have #1 contenders established on SmackDown, it'll be overturned on Raw. So, yeah. You have a team that's not a team, taking the opportunity away from a lot of other awesome teams, a team that, if and when they win, have no legitimate, believable contenders, and you've overlooked or oversurpassed or totally undermined the existence and the authority and the impact of an entire show in this move. Is it going to be a great match? Sure. Are Daniel Bryan and Kane going to be one of those, you know, corny odd couple teams that, oh my god, they hate each other, but somehow they managed to get it done? Absolutely. Is that a classic wrestling story? Of course it is. But at a time when you are trying to have, you know, the spark, the rebirth, the ignition of a tag team division of proper teams, and you have great teams, you don't need to be mashing singles guys together, because you already have 2 singles guys carrying the belts. I thought we were taking a step in the right direction, but no. The tag team titles and the entire tag team division are becoming a prop in a singles feud. Once again, it's ridiculous, and it shouldn't happen. Anyways, like I said, I'm sure there's a whole lot of people that wonder what brand of crack I'm smoking today. If you want to say anything, put it down in the box below. If you come at me being ignorant and just insulting me personally, I'm going to delete your comments. If not, if you have proper, you know, well thought out arguments or opinions that you want to share with me, absolutely put them in the box below. Absolutely flick your camera on and be like, hey, Spaz, I think you're on drugs and this is why. That's fine, that's cool, whatever. Again, I'm going to borrow the line from Alex. Make a response, make a video response, put it in the box below, do what you do. Anyways, that is it, guys. I've rambled completely long enough. These have been my 9 or so reasons why I don't think this match should happen on Sunday. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, let me know what you think. Keep this conversation going, tell me what you think of what I think. Don't be a stranger, and I will talk to each and every last one of you later. But guess what, guys? For right now, I'm tagging out. Bye.
Get up, come on, get down.